Dogs. They are playful, fun-loving, and most of all, they are loyal. Thousands of years ago, they entered into an emotional pact that is still unbroken.
Your dog is smarter than you think.
But why did dogs become our ideal companion and colleague at work? Why are dogs so loyal that they would follow us to the end of the world? What exactly? Inset, a small village in northern Norway, 240 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle. The sled dogs that live here still carry parts of the ancient wolf's genome. They are Greenland dogs, one of the oldest breeds in the world. Here, humans and dogs still have a primordial way of life.
I emigrated 30 years ago from Hamburg, Germany, and built a husky farm here. When I started offering guided tours, my main goal was to be outside. I wanted to be out in nature with the dogs. And in a way, it's like living the life of a farmer who doesn't get around a lot. And although I haven't seen much of the world, I can truly say that I have found one of the most beautiful places on earth.
It all started when Bjørn Klauer was on a hiking tour all the way across Norway. He felt a desire for a solitary life, away from human society. Back then, a Greenland dog was traveling with him, who not only pulled his bags but kept him company. Without the dog, Bjørn would have become very lonely. Greenland dogs are perfectly adapted for expeditions in the extreme climate of the far north. Their thick fur protects them from temperatures of up to minus 40 degrees Celsius. They are sled dogs, from tip to paw. Bjørn's routine with the dogs is dominated by the seasons. During wintertime, he spends more than 100 days in the open countryside. Each day, the energetic dogs run up to 60 kilometers. During these trips, Bjørn and the dogs have created a very special bond.
In the front, there is the lead dog. He is the one I'm in contact with whom I communicate. He always wants to do everything spot on. This is someone who, like all dogs, wants to make everything right for his owner. You have to build mutual trust with the lead dog. This means, on the one hand, the dog must understand that my commands are always good and that I don't put them in danger. On the other hand, if the dog backs away from something, I also have to trust him and be aware that there is something in the way. The dog is your life insurance out here, and it trusts you under all circumstances.
The highlands of northern Norway. They are covered with dense snow for more than half a year, in an almost endless, lonely tundra. What is now a way of life for Bjørn has been essential for survival for our Nordic ancestors in this part of the world. Sled dogs have been living in a close relationship with humans for more than 2,000 years across the Arctic Circle, with nomads in Siberia, with Inuits, the natives of North America, and with the inhabitants of Greenland, the home of Bjørn's Greenland dogs. In a landscape dominated by ice and snow, our ancestors were dependent on their dogs, and not only for hunting. With their sleds, they were able to reach other settlements to sell or purchase goods. Thus, the dogs played an important role in the growth of extensive trade. Already at this time, dogs showed their social skills, and men appreciated the skills and character of their dogs. And these very characteristics remain today.
Schlittenhunde sind ja die einzigen Zugtiere.
Sled dogs are the only working animals in the world that you cannot put pressure on to do things. They just have their own motivation, their joy of pulling, their satisfaction of working in a team. Everything has to be fun, and I think that's really great. When I am on a tour, then I also have to work in the team. I don't just stand on the sled and say go. When it goes uphill, I have to help. I have to walk next to the sled, and if the snow is really deep, I may have to put on my snowshoes. And this collaboration, in my opinion, is the greatest experience. This really strengthens the connection with nature even more.
For thousands of years, sled dogs have been helping humans across the globe. And they have learned to understand us.
When I stand on the sled and see the dogs having fun running, and when I take in the mountains and enjoy the landscape, that's an incredible sense of freedom.
And take directions left and right to fetch sheep to where we want them. I don't know anybody who can take direction like a dog. If anybody sort of gave me as many directions as I give my dog, I think I could stand it for about maybe 20 minutes before I left. Where these dogs will work all day and take advice and try to be helpful and keep an open mind, which is, so they're very useful.
The ancestors of the Border Collies lived in England and Scotland in the 16th century. Here shepherds discovered and developed the skills of the dogs. Especially on large barren pasture areas, these dogs became key team partners. Only with their help, shepherds were able to guide their sheep to fresh pastures and water. Even today, working in this vast landscape would be impossible without the dogs. The sheep are more than 800 meters away, but shepherds can communicate with their dogs across this distance. Derek fully trusts his dogs, and they trust him.
Dogs are the best ones as working as a team with a handler. When you buy a Border Collie puppy, for example, it's almost a given that the dog wants to please you. You don't have to train it to please you. It's born through years of selective breeding to be the type of dog that likes to be an underdog with you as the boss. So you don't have to dominate them. You really just about have to show them what you want them to do, and they do it. Every day, every minute of every day, I just enjoy working with the dogs. And especially when you get one that's a little bit better, something that's a little bit special. Sometimes you get a dog that's just a little bit of a genius. In dog terms, he's much more of a genius than I could ever be. And I'm working with somebody who's really much, much cleverer than me. So in this dog that I've got just now, Lynn, she's an example of that. She was born to work. The minute she started working, it was almost as if she'd been here before.
Dogs are still proven to be the best partners for herders around the world. Many of these could not master the everyday challenges without their loyal dogs. Can dogs sense when their owners will come home? Mario and his owner Johanna have a well-established daily routine. Every morning at the same time, Johanna leaves the house. What Johanna doesn't know is that she leaves behind millions of small odor particles that her body has been continuously emitting. Even if he doesn't like it, Mario comes to terms with the situation. He knows he has to spend the next few hours alone in the house. And he makes the best of it. Unnoticed by humans, the odor particles of Johanna remain present in the house throughout the day. However, their intensity decreases as time passes. At some point, Mario seems to notice something. His owner will soon be returning home, but how can Mario sense this? Odors change permanently throughout the day. If their intensity follows a regular pattern, they become predictable for dogs. If the concentration of the odor particles falls below a certain value, dogs can smell this. Therefore, Mario already knows a few minutes ahead of time that his owner will be arriving home. Mario smells her absence. This means dogs can actually smell the passage of time. These fine odorant molecules are also used by dogs on very different challenges, of the life-saving kind. Near Graz in southern Austria. Here, search and rescue dogs are called in when police forces need help in the search for missing persons. Urs is a so-called man-trailer.
My partner Urs is a Belgian Shepherd dog, a Malinois. He is 5 years old and has been on the job for 2.5 years. With Urs, I've traced 4 people and found them alive using the man-trailing method.
Today, Urs is on a training trail. His challenge, to find a mother and her son. One short sniff is enough, and Urs has memorized the scent of the missing person. By licking his nose, Urs binds the odorant molecules to his olfactory receptors. Once the odor is stored securely in his brain, Urs knows exactly the scent he needs to follow. Now his nose does something remarkable. It registers human skin flakes in the air. Every person loses on average 40,000 skin flakes per minute. Invisible to the naked eye, these particles leave behind a specific scent that is unique to every one of us, just like our fingerprints. This trace of tiny particles is everywhere. In the street, in bushes, on walls. The dog's nose is an incredible sensor that can detect and distinguish these fine odor particles from millions of others. But Urs doesn't work alone. Man-trailing is a team effort.
Man-trailing is honest work for a dog. I don't force him. He does it with pleasure. And the more he likes the search, the more he shows it. With his tail or ears. He communicates his feelings. And that's the beauty of man-trailing. Learning to read the signs of the dog and working with him.
The biggest challenge for Armin is to give his dog control of the search. If Urs walks back on the trail, it doesn't mean he has lost his track. He rather tries to identify the direction which the scent comes from. Like all dogs, Urs uses a very special feature of his nose to trace the odor. He can smell in stereo. This means Urs can scan the left side of his surroundings with the left part of his nose, and in the same breath examine the right side with the right part of his nose. The dog can thus verify which direction the odor is coming from and follow the trail. In the end, the biggest reward for Armin and Urs is to find the missing person.
This is actually the best part of working with dogs, feeling their gratitude, seeing that they are enjoying their work, by wagging their tail as if they are saying, "Boss, it's so much fun to work with you."
Dogs have shown that they can track our body odor, but can they also recognize changes inside our body?
And the feedback we receive just shows us how reliable the dogs actually are, and this is our reward. We know it works, and often we can say that we have saved another human life, or we have detected a disease.
North Carolina, on the east coast of the United States of America. Lisa Briggs lives and works here with her dog Layla. She has trained her golden retriever to detect human remains for police investigations, and she has been proven to be extremely successful.
Layla is a crossover dog, so she lives in my home with me. She goes everywhere with me. She's kind of a pet, and then I can put her vest on, and she's a working dog. She's just turned 3, but already closed 8 cases by finding human remains. So she's good at what she does.
Human remains detection dogs are considered to have the best noses among the working dogs. During the decomposition process, a chemical cocktail of hundreds of different odor molecules is formed. The smell of death comes in many different formulas, and Layla is one of the few who can identify it.
My job is to read my dog. I've taught her what to do, but when we're out on a search, I have to pay attention to her body language. People, when they watch the dogs, they can see it through the tail, through the nose, through the air scenting. They may start barking early when they get into odor. And her job is to actually not just get me close to source, but actually get me right on the source. Down, down. Good girl, good girl.
In a nearby forest, Layla is training to detect different odors of decay. They can be in the open, buried in the ground, or hidden in water. Somewhere in this forest, Lisa has placed a half-decayed, real human hand, which is allowed in the US for such purposes. Her trained nose enables Layla to detect a dead body in deep waters, and she can even distinguish a dead rat from human remains. For Layla, the training is primarily a game for which she is rewarded. This doesn't change in a real case when the police or family members hope for important information.
My first search, and the first time I found human remains, I was depressed afterwards. I was very, very sad. Because I felt sad for the victim, I felt sad for what we found. And then I realized I was making my dog sad, you know? And so I have to do a good job making sure that she stays happy at her job. So it's taken quite a bit of work to still remain a human being and have empathy for the family, but not to do so much of it that my dogs are picking up on the fact that I'm sad.
Lisa and Layla are now an experienced team that is superior to many other forensic methods used by the police. But their relationship also reveals how dogs perceive us. For dogs, their owners are the most important person in their lives. They are often part of the family, and as such, they are able to see the world from our perspective. Yarrow will show us that he can take the point of view of his owner. The Labrador is trained to bring a toy on command, but today he gets 2 identical toys. One is placed in front of a milk glass, the other in front of a transparent glass pane. While Yarrow can see both toys, his owner only sees the one in front of the transparent glass pane. As soon as his owner gives the command "bring," he could take each of the 2 toys. But if Yarrow assumes that his owner can only mean the toy that he can actually see, he will bring the one in front of the transparent glass pane. Mission accomplished. Dogs can take our point of view, therefore we can rely on our dogs and also entrust them with great responsibilities. In very close relationships, this ability can even change lives. Pina, an Australian Shepherd, has been trained to assist her owner Carlotta Kramer in her daily routine. When Carlotta was 13 years old, she was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, a mild form of autism.
I cannot be in crowds. It's hard for me to do things on my own or to engage in a conversation with a group of people, especially when they are strangers. It's difficult for me when I don't know what's coming next.
This disease has made it almost impossible for the 22-year-old to master everyday situations. Her entire life has been determined by constraints, depression, and even self-harming behavior. Only when Pina started living with her did she find a way to escape loneliness and engage in a social life, leaving the house and meeting other people.
She helps me in my everyday life, simply by being there. When we go downtown, people automatically step back. Especially when she is wearing her service dog vest. People will say, "Oh, there's someone who needs help." Pina is really charming, and she shows everyone that she has this special responsibility.
Dogs are ideal for this kind of life assistance because they are capable of developing empathy. They can sense if a person is happy or sad, and this gives Carlotta a sense of security.
You don't have to be afraid. That's the feeling she gives me. I can rely on her every second, and she always makes me feel loved. I know that there's someone to take care of me.
Thanks to Pina, Carlotta can handle her everyday life on her own. She is going to university, and she has found the love of her life. But most of all, Pina has achieved one thing. She has put a smile back on Carlotta's face. Dogs are able to see things from our perspective. While we rely primarily on our voice when communicating with dogs, they can read our faces like pages in an open book. Intuitively, the right side of a person's face is more expressive than the left side. Therefore, we instinctively focus on this right half when we want to understand the mood or feelings of our counterpart. It's our unconscious way to recognize each other's feelings. Scientists have now discovered that dogs look at us in exactly the same way as humans do. They focus on our right side and recognize our feelings. This is how they're able to enter deeply into our emotional life. And they only do this with us, not with other dogs.
With me, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I don't want to talk to anybody else, but I always want to hang out with my dog. I'll come back from court, I may have bad news from the judge, and she's there.
Charlotte.
Charlotte is an 11-year-old poodle. We know that she's got an abscessed tooth, and And other than that, medically, we're not sure. So we're going to do blood work on her, make sure she's not having any kind of, needing any kind of medicine or anything like that.
And there is an important secret to be revealed. Dogs' brains respond to us with the same feelings, in the same brain areas, as we respond to them. This means the most urgent question of every dog owner is thereby also answered. Yes, our dogs really do love us. And this is probably the explanation for our wonderful and long-lasting friendship.
So next time you feel